What's up, y'all? It's your girl Shay Renee, and today we are going to talk about the Real Housewives of Atlanta, season 14, episode 15. And can I tell you something? I am so tired of the I fit, who didn't get invited, who did get invited. And shout out to Jessica with the K and Delicia that joined me on my last video. I ain't see y'all comments until after I'd already gotten off, but thank y'all for joining me, and I hope y'all come back for this one. All right, so let's get into it, shall we? All right, y'all. My girl Jessica came on back. What's up, Jessica? Thank you so much for joining me and coming back. I saw you on your comment on the last video, but I had already gotten off, and I was like, shoot, I didn't get to shout out my girl. But thank you so much for coming back. All right, so let's get into it, y'all. So in this episode, it starts off from the last episode where Ross is basically like, put some respect on my wife's name. Okay, y'all, not about to be doing all this catty going back and forth stuff with my wife. I'm not into that. I don't know what y'all trying to do with Todd the night before, but what you're not about to do is do that to my wife, okay? Because this I ain't rocking, basically, okay? So Ross gets up and exits left from the table, and of course, Sanya follows right behind him. Okay. So the crowd has a discussion about not going to the outfit event yet again, and how, but they still, Candy was like, okay, y'all didn't go to the outfit event, but y'all still had fun on the catamaran boat, right? And Kenya was like, I mean, well, yeah, but I still feel like disrespected because she didn't even check to see if I ate or how I was doing. I'm like, girl, Kenya, stop. Okay? Please stop. Because at this point, you know that this is a work trip for this girl. Why am I checking on you at every beck and call? You should be checking on me to make sure I got a massage or my legs ain't hurting from running around this damn track and doing tricks of the trade for this outfit stuff. Like, why y'all not checking on me? You got a free trip here. Do with it as you please, ma'am, and go away from me with this, Apollo. Stop. That's what you need to do. Because it's getting out of hand. It's giving, I'm trying to have a problem with this girl. And right now it's really stupid. I don't get it. And Kenya, you're not even into fitness. The last thing we saw you do was who had the best booty video with Phaedra. And both of them videos, quiet as it's kept, was dumb. And they didn't help neither one of y'all build a booty. Phaedra was born with it and you bought it. So let's just stop playing around. Okay. Nobody is coming to coming to you specifically for any fitness advice. Yes, you have a banging body. You look good, sis, for your age, but knock it off. If anybody should have been at any of these iFit ventures, it's Sheree Don't Pay. Okay. She should have Chateau. She Don't Pay. She should have been there and she should have been getting ideas for the Sheree that's never land line of clothing. Okay. And that's that on that. So moving on. Sheree, she needs to stop tripping and saying you think Sheree is flip-flopping. Even after Sheree and Marlo, they talked about this pact that they had, that they were all supposed to have each other's backs. And she's talking to Ross while they're off to the side saying, I really just don't appreciate Sheree kind of not having my back in this moment. I feel like she's kind of flip-flopping. And I'm like, well, see, you're a little flip-flopper too. And quiet as it's kept, you choosing the wrong team, sis. Because you on team could get fired at any moment right now. Because we don't know if Marlo is going to come back at all. Sheree gets fired every other season. So you should have been over there on the Candy and Kenya bandwagon if you really want to know what's going on. That's what you really should be doing. But you over here forming alliances with the forever friend of the show and the consistently fired one of the show. Not a good plan at all, if you ask me. And even though you didn't, I'm gonna tell you. So moving on. So then Sanya and Ross come back to the table, and then Kenya talks about before she comes back. Hold on. Kenya talks about the trip that hosted previously last season. And she basically talks about Sanya's hosting skills and how she's not being a good host, still talking about this whole outfit stuff. And then Candy says, well, girl, I know you're not talking about somebody not eating, because I do recall you ordering yourself a crab cake and none of us had any food. Now, child, you don't want to play with Candy and her food. And I remember that episode. She was pissed with a capital P, because Kenya was sitting there. She had Uber Eats send her a daggone, or somebody brought her a crab cake, and she ain't get nothing for nobody else. And all of them sitting poolside hungry and cute. I was like, Kenya, that's not being a good host, sis. So Candy definitely reminded her ass of that with the damn quickness. So then Sanya comes back to the table, and her and Ross end up talking about instructions for the following day. And she asked them all to wear Jamaican colors to the dinner for the next day. Okay. So Drew, they're leaving to get back on the bus. And of course, Drew is in this wheelchair, child, and there's cobblestones on the way out. So they ain't trying to be rolling no wheelchair over cobblestones. So it took 4 of the men to carry her in her chariot to the bus to get on it. So they carry her. Then her husband is pushing her up by the butt. And then Heath, that don't talk, he picks her up and puts her onto the bus. I'm like, child, Drew, you getting all this attention just to get on this damn bus, honey. Okay, you go, girl. So then Sheree talks about Never Never Land joggers with her designer, okay, on the phone when they go back to their room. I'm like, Sheree, if you don't come out with something this year, you're going to be even more of the laughing stock than you already are. This is the song that doesn't end, okay? This is the business that will never start. I'm going to need her to do something. A water bottle, a yoga mat, a t-shirt, print it yourself, something. Like, it's really getting annoying. Jessica with the K says, Sanya should have written her reads on the back of her hand because she got ate up, girl. Yes, she did. And we're going to talk about that in that last scene where she forgot why she had an issue with Kenya. I'm like, girl, you've been talking about it all episode and butt her over it. And then all of a sudden you like, let me think. We're going to get to it, Jessica. You hold tight. So anyway, Sanya goes to her outfit project for the day, and then she texts Marlo and asks her to be the host while she's gone. Now, Sanya, you know good and daggone well, you should have just texted everybody and said, hey, everybody, entertain yourselves. I'll be back at such and such a time. Why would you ask Marlo to be hosting anybody and ain't nobody fooling with sis? Especially Candy. Like, what? Okay, moving on. So Sheree and Sanya talk about Kenya, and Sanya says Kenya, because Sheree went to the outfit thing with her. And Sanya says Kenya is sly with all of her little slick reads with her. And, she just tries to get out of stuff and she's just over it. Okay. And I do agree. I think that Kenya has wiggled out of situations with Sanya. Sanya has been more than accommodating of her. She's apologized to her for any of her missteps. She's tried to get along with Kenya, but Kenya seems to consistently try to find something wrong with her relationship with Sanya for some reason. And I just don't understand why. It's getting very old and stale at this point, and I'm just over it. So Sanya recognizes real, and she realizes that Kenya is just playing with her emotions, and sis ain't really fooling with her the way that she pretends that she is. Okay. So moving on, then she says, Kenya is always talking about her hosting skills, and Kenya wouldn't be checking on her if she was twirling or dancing with the stars and they were all there to support her or on a vacation that she's hosting. She would have been doing her business and doing what she needs to do and not worrying about everybody else, because that's for damn sure true. Because when Kenya was twirling all around that little young boy when she was doing Dancing with the Stars, please believe she would have had her leg on his shoulder and her head to the sky and not worrying about y'all if y'all was on the trip with her. I'm just saying. Okay. So then Sheree says, well, don't let Kenya try you, because she certainly will. Okay. And she definitely did. Moving on. So Marlo tells everyone she's hosting while Sanya is gone, despite her having issues with everyone else. And everyone goes to eat, and a bird is in like this net over top of them, and the bird is consistently pooping down on them as they're eating. And so everybody is freaking out about this bird. But Candy was like, listen, ain't nothing going to interrupt my food or my business. Okay, if I'm in the middle of doing something for a job, or if I'm eating, I'm gonna go ahead and navigate around that. Y'all can go ahead and let a little bird poop get you away from the food, but I'm gonna go ahead and eat because I'm hungry. And I'm inclined to be right along with Candy. Now, mind you, I might have to move my plate out the way because I don't play about my food, and I only want the ingredients that the chef intended in my food. I don't need no bird feces and none of that up in my daggone food. But anyway, so Marlo was like, well, I'm gonna go ahead and take my food over to I'm gonna go ahead and move on to poolside. If y'all want to join me, feel free. But I ain't about to be sitting under the bird poop. So she takes her tote with all her life stories and her bag that's heavy as hell over to the pool. Okay. So eventually everybody comes over and joins Marlo by the pool. And of course, Todd and Candy, the rich bitches of the crew, they get a bungalow, if you will, or whatever it is. I forgot what they call it, but they got something to sit. They didn't want to sit just by the pool, so they reserved some little space, special space for them. So they go over there and sit down and chill and whatnot. So Sheree and Monietta, Candy, Todd, and Kenya go under the bungalow, and Marlo talks to Sheree and Monietta. And I'm just like, girl, Marlo, every time the camera is on you, you crying a river. Cry me a river, dick face. I am so tired of her trying to get accolades and just trying to get love from everybody. It's like Marlo constantly needs somebody to boost her ego. And she just doesn't want to accept that what she did by sending those boys away was wrong. So she's constantly on this campaign of trying to get people to be on her side and understand what she did. Listen, you did it. Nobody agrees with you. Move on. Move on. Stop trying to plead your case. But she did say that what Candy didn't know is that she had a previous conversation with Drew and Ralph about the adoption. And she was excited that he was actually going to adopt Josiah. So when she learned that he actually wasn't going to adopt Josiah, it gave her some PTSD about her own childhood. And I get it, but then I don't. I'm so sick and tired of Marlo blaming every single thing that happens on, or all of her bad behavior on her childhood. You've been going to therapy. Keep going again. This shouldn't be a spin around the block. You need to be in consistent therapy so that you can get over your issues, because you're constantly lashing out on other people with these lazy ass reads, child, and trying to use your childhood as an excuse of you being a horrible adult. I'm not rocking with it. I'm definitely not. So Monietta was like, while I agree that the children should have been left out of it, and I understand where you're coming from, again, it wasn't right for you to be attacking Todd. Like, why did you have to bring up Todd or all that other stuff? And Marlo admits, she said, well, everybody goes below the belt, and I do go below the belt, and I shouldn't have been talking about Todd, but I didn't appreciate her talking about the boys, and that's that on that. And, basically she takes accountability for what she did. And Monietta says, well, I think that you and Candy should have a conversation, and Sheree agrees. Okay. And Monietta also concludes that she believes that Candy didn't have any malice behind her talking about the kids, which she really didn't. So moving on, Sanya finally returns to regain her rightful title as a host, and they all go to the Chukka Cove bamboo rafting excursion in Jamaica. Okay, and Marlo got her life in a bag, wondering if it's too heavy for the raft once they get there, because she's like, wait a minute, my bag is a little heavy. I know it's a weight requirement on this thing. Is this going to make us topple over? I'm like, girl, what the hell do you have in this bag? A gun? What is going on? Why do you have all this stuff in this bag, sis? Child. Anyway, on the raft, Sheree and Kenya are sitting together, and Sheree is flip-flopping again and talking about the damn outfit event and getting uninvited, blah, blah, blah. And Kenya is talking about Ross yelling at her, and she's sitting by herself, and she doesn't have a man with her. basically being all dramatic. And I'm like, Kenya, let me tell you something. You've been single for several seasons. You get a husband 2 seasons ago, and now all of a sudden you a damsel in distress and you're a fawn in the woods that can't protect yourself. You've been coming for these ladies season after season after season, solo dolo. So knock it the hell off. I don't want to hear nothing about you crying about not having a man with you to help you read these bitches down. Girl, get out of here with that. Because that man did not say anything to you that was so harsh and harmful that you should be over here licking your uninvited wounds. Girl, stop. Okay, let's get into the comments, y'all. Jessica with the K says, apparently Sheree sent out customized Barbie dolls in different outfits as an invitation for the fashion show. Candy says she should just make a Barbie doll fashion show. Listen, because the Barbie dolls probably about to be the only ones that have some clothes to even show up, because clearly sis ain't got her stuff together. I am so over Sheree and this wannabe businesswoman. Ugh. I want to know how Sheree gets her money. That's what I want to know. Where is she getting any money from? How is she making any money outside of this show? Because I know she's not saving all her money from the seasons that she's been on this show. And Atlanta, I get it. The cost of living is lower, but God, how low is it? How low is it, sis? Miss B says, what's up, Miss B? What's going on? Kenya need to twirl her way to a decent man and hush, child. Indeed. Twirl and stay. Twirl and stay in place. That's what she need to do. Because I don't want to hear this damsel in distress mode anymore from her, because it's giving no. Jessica with the K says, Kenya was a little OD about the Ross thing. I did get that he didn't have to stand up and dominate the conversation, but he certainly wasn't aggressive or scary. And I agree. And even Sheree said, I think you're kind of reaching a little bit. You're reaching far beyond these Jamaican trees over him being aggressive, sis. Like it really wasn't that deep. Okay. So in the net, they show a flash of Drew stuck in her room, and Kenya goes to check on her after the whole little excursion, and Marlo talks to the boys. Now, from my understanding, Candy said on one of her speak on it that Marlo didn't get the boys back, but she's talking to the boys, talking to Michael, the oldest, asking him if he missed her and if he was ready to come home, because it's around the time for them to come back home. So I'm like, did she get the boys back or not? Like, she keeps talking like she's going to take the boys back, but on speak on it, Candy said that she never got the boys back, and this was recorded, I'm sure, long ago. Okay, so I don't know what's going on with that, but whatever. That's her story, and she's sticking to it. So Candy and Monietta meet up to go downstairs, and Monietta tells Candy about her conversation with Marlo, and Candy is not having it. She's like, well, you need to have my back a little bit more, because I ain't with the shenanigans of the Marlo of it all. I don't really give a damn about what she was talking about. And she came for me and she didn't need to. Like, and I stand on what I said. She shouldn't have gave them boys away. And I don't care about her talking about, I don't have any issue with Michael and William. They are not my issue at all. I love the boys. But what she did is still messed up. I don't give a damn what conversation she had with Ralph and Drew. It still is messed up. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it, and I ain't changing it. Okay. So then Monietta says Marlo feels like Candy started it and shouldn't have gotten involved. And Candy's like, well, whatever. I ain't like what she was saying, so I spoke up, and that's that on that. And ain't nobody gonna make me do nothing different. All right. So moving on, everyone comes down in their green and their island colors to represent Jamaica for their last dinner. And Marlo and Candy end up having on the same top, child. I about fell in the flow. I'm like, of course, the two women that are not getting along have on the same daggone shirt. How ironic is that? And then when Kenya comes down, she says, oh, wow, I almost bought that same shirt. Alexander McQueen, right? And I'm like, oh my gosh, where's the stores in Atlanta where y'all buying the same daggone expensive designer clothing? But anyway, moving on, Sanya asked everyone to highlight what their highlights of the trip are. And Sheree says she liked the track visit and betting on Marlo. And Marlo immediately takes this opportunity to seize her accolades, child. She's like, Oh, thank you so much. Because I really loved, listening to that video of you cheering me on and kissing my ass. I love that. And I want you to do more of that because that really warms my heart and makes me feel good, because I want to be Nene so bad. And you know how Nene needed everybody to kiss her ass? Like, that's why we're friends. So, that's what I want you guys to do for me. Kiss my ass. The more that you give me accolades and tell me how amazing I am, do that. She didn't say that, but that's what I got from that. Marlo, stop. Ain't nobody's lip suction cup to your ass, sis, because you really ain't got nothing for nobody to be kissing your ass for. What are you offering these ladies besides your rented clothing and bathing suits that had everybody's cootie cat in Atlanta in it? Girl, bye. Going on. Ain't nobody got time for you and the shenanigans, the shitnanigans of it all. Just stop. So Sheree says, hold on, and let me stop you right there. I'm gonna back up a little bit. Yeah, I was cheering because I had money on you. Yeah. I was hoping you was gonna win that race because I had made a bet and stuff. But yeah, girl, I'm your friend. I got you, girl. Yeah. Cheers to Marlo. But you made me lose my money. So yeah, that's what it was all about. So Marlo over there with egg on her face, child. But then she's like, but I'm going to keep playing that video so I can hear you cheering me. Girl, shut up. Shut up. I'm so sick of Marlo. Like, oh, I am so sick and tired of her. So then she uses this as a way to segue, if you will, into her apologizing to Candy. So Marlo tells Candy about her feelings about the adoption, as far as Drew and Ralph, and how she felt like Ralph was reneging on the adoption situation because of a convo that they had previously where they talked, and Candy and everybody else obviously wasn't privy to that conversation. And she says she didn't like her going below the belt about the boys. And Candy says she didn't like Marlo getting all in their business. And she, like she had just thrown the boys away and she didn't even want to acknowledge it. And she basically was doing the same thing. Like, you basically are getting on Drew and Ralph about their situation with their kid, but you're doing the same thing by getting rid of Michael and William at the first sight of uneasiness of being a parent. Like, Candy was highlighting that and wanting her to acknowledge that she's wrong too. She should have, number one, minded her business, and number two, don't try to be a hypocrite. And Marlo was basically like, well, you're telling my business to everybody at the table. Girl, everybody at this table knew. Everybody at this table knew because, number one, you had a whole vacation trip where you wanted everybody to come and kiss your ass and until you get glad and stroke your ego about this whole situation with the boys. And then you ended up throwing everybody out of the house and sending them home because you didn't feel like they were kissing your ass enough. Girl, everybody knew about the situation with the boys. So stop acting like it was the biggest secret of the town. You basically did a TED talk on how you sent the boys away, looking for people to be like, yeah, girl, I understand why you sent them kids away. Fuck them. They was being bad. You did the right thing. No, nobody's going to say that. And when you weren't getting the praise that you were looking for, then you sitting here with egg on your face looking stupid. And now you want to act like you are just so hurt over everybody not agreeing with you or everybody bashing you. And the thing is, you're just mad because nobody agrees with you. And there's nothing that you can do to persuade anybody to have any different thoughts. Okay. And that's that on that. And that wasn't a cause for you to go on and talk about that girl's husband and talk about her mama and talk about how she's a big mama and she always paying for her husband. Todd and Candy have been married for over 5 years now. Stop it. This is a whole marriage. Where is your man? Because quiet as it's kept, you keep showing up with everybody that don't like your kind to every event. Do you have a man? So stop giving everybody else advice on their men and talking about everybody else in their relationship, and you don't have one for your own. Don't talk about nobody's man until you have one that I can talk about. Do that. Okay. So yes, you went below the belt. You're mad because don't nobody care about, ain't nobody kissing your tail about you sending them boys away and telling you that you were dead motherfucking wrong. And that's that on that. Period. Okay. So then she says she understands that Candy didn't like it, but it was the truth. And the stuff, no, Candy says, I understand that you didn't like what I said, but it was the truth. And the stuff Marlo said about Todd wasn't true. However, she will apologize about saying anything about the boys in front of the group. And she says, when you go low, I'm gonna go lower, okay? Because I am not Michelle Obama. And I said, honey, drop the daggone mic, okay? This she says she shouldn't have. She says that Marlo shouldn't have addressed Todd because people always have something to say about the men addressing women. Even though she went on Todd, then that was when she brought up the Michelle Obama comment, and then Todd chimes in and says, "Yeah, in the future, just leave me the fuck out of it." And then Marlo says, "Why you gotta curse at me though?" Okay, Marlo, you know that man was not cursing at you. Why you gotta be dramatic? You're doing the absolute freaking most. And then Candy says, see, that's exactly what I'm talking about. You can come for him and you can say all this stuff, but as soon as they say something back to you, it's the end of the world. Okay, there he's just defending himself and he's not cursing at you. He's just basically telling you to leave him out the conversation. But here you go, trying to drum up some more BS. Okay, what y'all talking about over here? Nah, nah. Do we all know Marlo the recovered? Now, do we all know Marlo the recovered booster allegedly done got that peach and is finished doing the volunteer work she wrote on her application to get the job and sent them poor babies packing? Child. When Miss B come with it, she gonna come with it. Indeed, like you got those boys just so you can get this peach, and you use them as a storyline, and now you done sent them off to your sister that lives in a 2-bedroom apartment. Now I found out that the sister is married. So Marlo felt like she was sending them over there so that they can have some male, a male person in the home with them. But still, that's not an excuse. Take them over there to visit. Don't send them to live with her, obviously creating an additional burden for your sister. Just because it's a 2-parent household doesn't mean that they are equipped to be handling all of these children. Actually, I'm sorry, the sister has 4 children. Okay. So now she has 6 children, technically, because you sent them over there and you over here living in this townhouse by your lonesome. I really do believe Marlo sent them boys away so that she could, as Miss B say, have her booster, allegedly, her boosters up in there to have her rump sessions, make her coins. And she ain't want the boys around to see that. Okay? Please. Thank you for commenting. Jessica with the K says it was kind of icky too when Marlo was FaceTiming the boys when she was in glam and the boys were in a one bedroom with 6 kids or something. Yeah, that's tragic. Like, it's like you throwing it in their face that you threw them away. I'm like, how are you? It's like she's trying to create like some big sister almighty relationship with the boys. And that's not how parenting works at all, in the least. And I just feel bad for those kids because they're already going through enough with their mom being in the situation that she's in. And now you have a dysfunctional aunt that's using you and just throwing you away like yesterday's newspaper. It's just ridiculous. So then, Candy just basically reiterates that Todd wasn't cursing at her, and that's exactly what she's saying. The women are so sensitive, but they can say what they want, but men can't respond. It's not right. So Marlo apologizes and says, I'm gonna, you know what, I apologize. I'm not gonna talk about your husband. I'm still gonna support you, sis, and everything that you do. And I apologize. And Candy says, I apologize about bringing up the boys, and I'm still gonna support you too. Candy, you should have kept being low, like instead of going high like Michelle Obama, you should have kept being low because I wouldn't be supporting her at all. I'm so sorry. I'm not doing anything of that because you have been talking captain shit about me behind my back, Marlo. I'm definitely not doing anything for you. Call me Petty Betty, but it is what it is, okay? And clearly Candy is on the petty wagon now because she didn't got a chance to see these episodes of how sis was dogging her behind her back, okay? So then Aaron decides to leave because he says, listen, y'all, this is going to be my situation where I go ahead. This is my cue to go ahead and head on out. I got to go to work in the morning. So all the guys say, oh, well, if he leaving, I'm leaving too because I ain't about to stick around for this. Then everybody else bids the women to do and all the men leave, okay? So then Sheree says, well, I still want to laugh and have some fun. Let's just have a good old time, okay? And then Sanya says, I want to laugh too. And Candy says to Sanya, you seem really tired. And I'm like, yeah, she probably is tired. She been running around and outfitting all damn day on this whole trip, and everybody been getting on her nerves and complaining. Name's Kenya. So Sanya says, so what's up, Kenya? Like giving her like, what's up? Would you take me out to dinner? Like giving her all of that. And I'm like, wow, Sanya, why you addressing her like that? And Kenya was like, why you talking to me like a dude? I'm like, girl, Kenya, you've been over there with stank face the whole night against Sanya. Now you want to act like you don't have nothing against her. She's like, I'm not even looking at my phone. Like, I'm very engaged with the situation. Like, I'm not understanding your disposition right now. Why are you coming for me? Basically, what Kenya is saying to Sanya. And Sanya was like, I really just don't appreciate how you've just been giving off this negative energy towards me. And, you're basically complaining and having issues about everything that I'm doing. I've apologized to you. Like, I just don't understand what's going on. And Kenya and she says she feels like Kenya is very dismissive of her. And Kenya tells her to express herself. She was like, explain what your issues are. I feel like we did apologize to each other on previous issues. And, what is your problem? Like, I really don't understand what's going on. Tell me what your issues are. And Sanya says, hold on, let me think. Hold on, I'm gonna get it. Hold on, it's gonna come to me. I'm drawing a blank. Sanya, what? Girl, you can't, like Candy said, you can't handle Kenya. Okay? You could have used that opportunity to say, I feel like you always using your kid as an excuse to not do something you obviously don't want to do. I don't like how you've been low-key trying to drag me behind my back about me hosting events and talking about my food at my house, child, and all this, that, and the third, and how you didn't get to come to the outfit event, and you, quiet as it's kept, if you was working, you wouldn't have did that for me. So just stop playing games with me, okay? The whole time you've been totally disrespectful to my trip. That's what you should have said. But you drawing a blank, sis? What? Girl, just stop. Just stop. You don't have a real issue at this point. So Kenya says, you can't even express yourself. And I don't respect that. Then in the next breath, Bravo in their playbacks is very hilarious. So then she says, well, in the future, let's just talk about things as soon as we have an issue, because I really do respect you, because, you know how to express yourself. You just said that she didn't know how to express herself, and you don't respect women that don't know how to respect themselves. But she says she respect her now because she know how to respect herself, and that she's a beautiful woman, and and she's very smart and all this, that, and the third. And that's the only type of women that she hangs around, because she don't really let a lot of people in her damn circle, child. Girl. Okay, Kenya, whatever. You don't like this girl. Just stop playing around. So moving on. Then she asked Sanya, so bitch, where's my birthday cake? Did you give me a cake? And I'm like, Sanya, you really did drop the ball, because you had this whole whack ass party at your house for Sheree for her birthday with the spinning photo booth that didn't work. And you had everybody sitting around your countertop with these dry ass patties. And then you didn't even get Kenya a cake. And this is the day of her birthday. Well, you did dress her room up, which I'm cool with that. But you ain't even get the damn girl a cake. That's really why Kenya was mad. I think that Kenya was really mad on this trip because she felt like, okay, I'm not getting praised enough. It's my birthday. So you didn't ask me how I was doing. You weren't checking on me. You really made this all about you with this work trip, and you knew that it was my birthday, and you did all this stuff for Sheree before we left, but she didn't feel catered to the same way that Sanya was catering, obviously, to her butt buddy, flip-flopping ass friend Sheree. So that's what I really wish Kenya had have admitted, because all of this extra that she was giving her, it was giving flat and lame. You wasn't really mad at her about her not asking you to come to the damn outfit event. You just mad because the girl wasn't giving you the birthday praise that you were wishing for. Okay, just say that. Okay. Jessica with the K says, The suck Kenya took me out, because if you're starting out that hard, you better be ready with it. Should have made a Monique binder if she needed written bulletin point. Child, absolutely. You said it. Okay. Girl, you got to come with the receipts when you trying to come with for Kenya. Okay. You can't just sit there and draw a blank, sis. Draw an entire blank. Unbelievable. Jessica with a K says, I forgot it was Kenya's birthday until she brought up the cake. She definitely wasn't celebrated on this trip. Absolutely not. She wasn't. And I do think that she really dropped the ball on that. And she should have at least had the damn girl a cake, a lollipop, or something. Like, drew a name in the sand, child. Something. I don't know. Had some dancing Jamaican singers come out. She should have did something. I do agree with that. So before the episode ends, Marlo comes up. She's like, hold on. We can't let the episode end without talking about this. Apparently, as they're leaving Jamaica's KFC chicken, which here in the States, KFC does not hold a thorn to Popeyes. So I don't know why anybody would be pressed for KFC. I got married in Jamaica. I didn't know nothing about no KFC chicken, but yeah, now I'm going to have to try the damn KFC chicken the next when I go to Jamaica next year, okay? But moving on, Marlo had this whole bucket of chicken and whatnot from KFC. They're traipsing through the airport to get on their flight. Candy smells the chicken, and she could not get over her overwhelming love for food. And she goes up to Marlo and begrudgingly says, Can I get a wing? Can I have some chicken? So they bond over the KFC chicken, if you will. Thank God for chicken, because obviously it ends feuds for a little bit. Okay, so that's the episode, y'all. Please, please, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video with anybody else that's watching this show with us. And I will see you in the next video. Peace out.